What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Dark Souls PvP. Alright guys, we're back at it for part 2 of the video series that I like to title Prowling the Ruins. So obviously you guys can see that this is the Demon's Ruin area, and part 1 is a series of matches wherein I was just basically doing some random invasions, just basically trying to level up my tomb. Now where I am right now, I was kind of just visiting the chats, and I had some of the Twitch bros, shout out to all the Twitch bros out there, had a few Twitch bros say, hey dude, where are you PvPing? So I'm like, well, I'm just kind of doing some random invasions. And, after a little going back and forth, they wanted to have a series of matches. Right? So this is basically me. I'm basically going to be fighting, I think, Cryan Maxis a couple times. But the vast majority of the time, I'm going to be having a few matches with good old Eric. EABM. And actually, to the extent that you guys are kind of familiar with the channel, I had a series of matches with Eric a while back. And I think either it was a Battle of the Builds or Rumble in the Jungle, where basically he first turned me on to the fast rolling. Right, because back then I think I was doing a lot of medium rolling, or I was using the Darkwood Grain Ring. Right, but he kind of introduced me to the whole idea of not only just fast rolling for medium to light builds, but also the potential to be able to fast roll with some of the heavier builds. Right, so I'd like to credit good old Eric for first introducing me to that. Alright, so here's Cryan Maxis, and actually I told him at the time, I'm like, hey dude, you might not want to fight me because I'm using a build that focuses on buffs. So he's like, okay, cool, I'll go ahead and use my buff build as well. But after having a series of matches, I'm like, you know what, these buffs are just too overpowered. Right? Because, he was using his Dark Moon Blade, and I was using my Leo Crystal Magic Weapon build. And it just wasn't fun, like killing somebody after 2 hits. I was literally like 2-shotting that guy. So I just went on ahead, decided to change builds, and now I'm back at it with my regular Leo Ring build. Alright, so he's just kind of using what appears to be a Black Knight build that focuses on using the Dark Sword. Alright, so a GG right there. Alright, so we're back at it. Now, this person right here is basically a random. I don't have a clue who this guy is. I don't think he's a Twitch bro, and if he is, he definitely doesn't play like a Twitch bro. What you guys will see, in the series of matches that I have with this guy, and I don't know if it starts with this one, but this guy loved BSing. And as a matter of fact, eventually after several matches, I just stopped summoning him because it seems as though that was all he could do. And like I've said in the past, in an effort to prevent from getting upset, right? Or, thinking that my opponent is going to change, I just stopped summoning him. Right? Because it's just simply not fun having a series of matches when that's all you can do. There's a lot of tactics that that you can employ other than BSing. And it was just annoying. So I think there'll be probably 1 or 2 more fights against me and that particular guy. I don't even really know his name, so I doubt that he's a Twitch bro. I think he just so happened to be down there coincidentally. But that's about it. Alright, so shout out to good old Eric. Here's good old Eric, or EABM, as you guys can see. That's his PSN name. And to the extent that you guys, may want to face Eric, you can find him on Twitch. Now, I know he's in school, and he's not, on the game all the time. But if you ever want to catch up with him, you can kind of visit him on the Twitch. Right? Because from what I know, he's usually kind of like on... You guys notice that? 1100 for the damage. 1100 on that great sword R2. Right? So he decided to punish me for it with the with that high-speed Great Lord Great Sword. But I hit him back with that high-speed R2 for the win. But like I said, You know, a lot of times I've caught him on Lance for Life's stream, Pep's stream, Yukis Legion, and a few other of the more popular PvP streams. Right, so once again, for a lot of you guys that may want to participate in a tournament or fight club, may it be on PS3 or Xbox, go ahead and visit the twitch.tv. Right, I can't stress that enough, because like I said before, it's definitely fun doing the random invasions, but whenever you want to improve your game, go ahead and introduce yourself to a lot of the Twitch streams. Now, whenever you guys visit the Twitch streams, in most cases, what's going on the stream will be displayed on the dashboard, right? So in some cases, you'll have some speed runs, you'll have some PvE runs, but in most cases, whenever they're going to have a PS3 or Xbox or even a PC fight club, shout out to good old Dark Lord Sin. I know he's on the PC a lot. And a few other guys who kind of, RB Frosty, shout out to him. I know he's on the PC a lot. And a few other guys. Shout out to Is the Frizz, good old Barneasy, Yuga's Legion, and a lot of these other guys, basically that I'm naming, who participate in a lot of the fight clubs. You guys can visit those guys. Pretty friendly. They're welcome to all challenges, and not only the streamers themselves, but also the participants and those who are in the chats on those streams, all looking for challenges. But best believe, if you go to one of those Twitch channels looking for a challenge, you will definitely find one, right? And here's the same guy that I was talking about. I think this guy is going to BS me like 3 or 4 times. It's kind of like that's his primary means of engagement, right? And that's one thing that I don't like I've said plenty of times before. It's not that I don't like BSs, right? BSs are fine. They're a part of the game. But when you use backstabbing as your primary means of engagement, it's super duper annoying, right? I don't think anyone can deny that. You guys notice that? 3 BSs. He didn't really do anything other than BS me over and over and over again. And I think I'm going to have maybe one more match with that guy. And then after that, like I said before, to prevent myself from having rage and getting upset, or maybe even reduce myself to sending off a hate mail, I'll just discontinue from summoning him. I mean, that's just an easy fix. You don't have to worry about anything. Alright, so we're back at it with the Twitch bro. And I don't know if you guys have noticed up to this point, but Eric is either experimenting or he's kind of changing his whole approach to PvP, right? Because he is doing a whole bunch of unlock attacking, and you can tell by just looking at his movements, right? Just pay attention to his character and the way his character is moving, and actually that's going to be a nice counter punish for 721, right? Because I was able to counter him in the middle of his attack, so I'm good to go with that. Alright, and I get a high speed running R1 for the win. Alright, so we're back at it. Let's see, can we summon Eric once again? Alright, now, I'm really going to have a lot of uploads for this Saturday. I don't know if you guys may know at this point, but you know, a lot of times I'll get guys who'll say, "Hey, dude, I mean, I noticed your first video in my upload window, but I didn't really notice any other videos. However, now that I'm looking at your channel, I'm noticing that you uploaded, you know, 1, 2, or a few other vids. How is it that I'm not getting that?" Here's a little suggestion for you guys. Right? Now, once you log into YouTube and you're on the home page, YouTube's home page, in the middle you should see a window that reads subscription. Right? And then if you go over to the left, I think it'll say something like you'll have like a drop down window. And if you check out that drop down window, it'll be one for uploads, right? And then it'll say something like highlights, and then it'll say something like everything. If you want to know each and every time a subscription that you're a part of has uploaded a video, change the option from highlights to everything. Right? Because highlights basically may give you one video that the person that you're subscribed to has uploaded, but every other video following that you might not get. Right? But if you go to everything, change the option from highlights to everything, you should be able to get in your box every upload that is created from the person that you are subscribed to. Right, so I just want to go ahead and pass off that information, because I've had a number of guys say, dude, I only thought that you uploaded one video. So that's one way, not only for my uploads, but for anybody else that you may be subscribed to. So go ahead, change that option from highlights to everything, and you should be good to go. Like I said before, just go ahead and check out those settings in the middle of the YouTube homepage, and you should be good to go. Now that was a high-speed medium roll BS. You guys know I really don't do a lot of those roll BSs, and actually that wasn't even really intentional. Right? It was one of those things where I rolled to dodge his swing, and I just so happened to be there. Now, some of these roll BSs are intentional, but that right there actually wasn't. I've even have it done to me at times. Right? Somebody will roll BS me, especially with a medium rolling build, or maybe even a fat roll. And then once they're there, in an attempt to attack, but just so happen that they have run past the shoulder and is able to hit off with the roll BS. So, that's just what happened in that instance. Now, if you guys notice, I'm able to hit them with a lot of those running R1s. A lot of those running R1s. And they are definitely hard to land, because I know a lot of times when you're attempting to land them, visually, you think in your mind that you basically have to be close up on your opponent. I don't really look at it like that. The way I see it, when you are running, you want to depress the R1 button, a few steps before you even get to your opponent, because you guys have to remember, even after you press the attack button, you take about 2 to 3 steps before you even swing with your weapon. Right? So if you guys want to get a little more accurate with those running R1s with the heavy weapons, just keep in mind that you might want to kind of run a few steps before you're even close to your opponent. Alright, so we're good to go. Eric has changed weapons. He is now using the Black Knight Great Axe, and he had a high speed parry right there, but I don't know why he couldn't connect. And that has happened to me, on a number of occasions. Sometimes I think it happens because immediately after I parry, I may have hit the R1 a little too quickly. As a matter of fact, a little too quickly for it to register. Now, I don't know if that was the case in his instance, but I know it has happened to me on a number of occasions where I'm like, holy crap, okay, I had this successful parry, but for whatever reason, I couldn't land the riposte. Alright, so actually I tried to parry that, and he was a little off on his attempt, but, that's good for me. Right? Definitely good for me on this second attempt. And that's one of the reasons why it is pretty difficult playing Unlocked. And if you are going to play Unlocked, you might want to play Unlocked with a horizontal swinging weapon. Right? Because a lot of those weapons with vertical attacks or some of those smash down attacks, they can be kind of difficult when you play Unlocked. Right? Alright, here's another Twitch bro. Go ahead, give a shout out to Plaguebearer X. Now, I don't know how long he's been a Twitch bro, but I do know he's been on there recently. So, shout out to him. Now, actually, he didn't kind of chat with me and say, hey, dude, I'm coming down. He was probably on one of the chats that I was on, and he said, you know what, I'm about to go ahead and tighten up the brigade. Right, so he's down here to share in with some matches. Right, so we're good to go. So let's see what he's going to bring to the table. Alright, looks like he's going to be fast rolling. And I don't know if he's just trying to poison me or this is a part of his build, but it looks like he's using dark magic. So this may be, okay, so he's kind of using a claw. and dark magic and a bow. Alright, so he's using a bow build with emphasis on either the claw or dark magic. Okay, so that's fair enough, but I got him with the high speed R2 on the great sword. So let me go ahead and flask it up once again and bring the action back to good old EABM. Now, one good thing about some of the Twitch bros, in particular his build, he plays with relatively lower poise. And when I say relatively lower, I mean he's like somewhere in the 30s. Right? I think, as a matter of fact, I think this build only has like 38 in poise. Now, I'm not really at that level where I'm kind of comfortable with 38 poise. Now, I will get there. But I know a lot of the pros, you know, they're kind of like, dude, I mean, you only need 31 for the win. I think 36 is what you'll need to be able to sustain katana hits. So, I mean, he's definitely at that level that's far above me, especially as far as confidence is concerned, right? Because I'm definitely, you know, I'm kind of good with regard to being comfortable with my tactics, but comfortable enough to, you know, go as low as 38, meh, not yet. But, I mean, in all fairness, a lot of my female builds, as a matter of fact, my hybrid build, my Faith Mage, and my Pyro Faith build, they both have 44 build. Now, I mean, 44 poise. Now, granted, it is a little more than, you know, 38 or 31 or whatever the cutoff is for the katanas, but it's definitely not enough to sustain the great sword attacks. Right, so definitely need a little practice with that. Alright, I got lucky right there because he definitely had the timing right for a roll BS, but fortunate enough for me, he didn't do it. And I ran face first until that dark magic. Well, not dark magic, I meant black flame, excuse me. So he's got the red tier fired up, so I might want to be a little cautious at this point. Right, because even though he's only popping me off with the arrows, that red tier could probably, from the looks of it, bring my vitality all the way down to 0. Right, because from what it looks like, I think I have maybe about 400 vitality, maybe 500. And actually, I got lucky right there because I think if he would have hit me with that red tier fired up, it would have been game over for me. Alright, so let's go ahead and flask it up. Alright, hit up the chat window real quick. And basically, this is really nothing, just a quick dialogue. He's basically talking about his build. He's kind of, you know, wasn't really finishing at that point. And I'm not really sure if that was originally a level 100 build, or he was just kind of building the build at the same time that I was building mine. But I think his build was only like a 117, 115 at the time. And you know, like in most cases, when I know that I am higher than the level that I'm playing, I usually tell people like, hey dude, I mean, these are the levels that I'm fighting at. And you know, it was all fun. So he agreed to meet me despite the few level increase that I have over him. Alright, so that hit definitely hurt. Now I am trying a little bit with the unlocked, and that's definitely one of the tactics that I try to employ, especially when you're using weapons like the Grave Lord, the Murakumo, and some of these horizontal attacking weapons. Right, because not only do I want to get good at the regular attacks, but I also want to get good, you guys notice that? Dead angle attempt. Right, because you guys can notice those dead angle attempts, because basically when they swing, they end up swinging almost at 180 degrees. Right, so the benefits from that is sometimes they're able to inflict damage through a shield. Number two, it makes it a little more difficult for you to parry. Right? As a matter of fact, you almost can't parry it. Because the way he's swinging, like I said before, is almost like a 360 degree swing. So in order to parry, you almost have to be facing your opponent. Right? But if he's doing a dead angle attempt, by the time his swing is complete, his back will be to you. Now, there's a downside to that, right? Because in a lot of cases, you can be BS'd for the punish. So I mean, there is both risk and rewards with regard to those dead angle attempts. Right, you just have to kind of measure back and forth within yourself, right? If the risks are worth the reward and vice versa. All right, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this two-part series. I think there's about two more matches in part two of the Prowling the Ruins. Right, I definitely enjoyed doing it. Not only the random invasions, but also the series of matches between me, Plaguebearer X, Cryan Maxis, and as you can see here, good old EABM. Definitely fun, especially considering the change of pace. Right, because I know you guys may enjoy my Butterfly Forest vids. Some of you may also enjoy some of the vids where I am in the Berg. But it's also good to see a change of pace every now and then. So that's why I figured this would be a good environment for a good new two-part video series. Alright, so this will be the last match in the two-part series. So thanks again for everybody who has checked out the two-part series. Thanks again for all my subs, all my viewers, all those who support me, and for many of you who don't, right? I appreciate the views all the while. So I won't go ahead and continue the rest of this match. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said before, go ahead and like and sub if you enjoyed. Until next time, Martyrs Brigade is